Welcome to the Warren Cycling Podcast. My name is Dean Warren. I'm in Lowton, Netherlands.
I'm Randy Warren, and I'm in Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah, and I was out riding and was a little late getting back because there was a detour and I got a little off track. And we got to get this podcast in so you can get out and ride too. So I think I almost got a 3-hour ride in. That's what you're looking for, a 3-hour ride. So it's good with this 6-hour time difference.
You said it was a cold ride, and I said I'm going to go on a warm ride, and it was the same temperature.
Yeah, like 40 degrees Fahrenheit. The sun was out. Actually, when I arrived here at our good friend John's town here, Vloten near Utrecht, it was snowing. It was like a little snow shower. When I got off the train, it was snowing. By the time I walked, it's about 8-9 minute walk to John's house. And by the time I got here, though, it stopped snowing, and he didn't even know if it snowed here.
Oh,
but
yeah.
But the sun came out and not too much wind. I had a route in my Garmin already loaded, so I said, okay, I'll do that. I think it's the right distance. And yeah, it was a nice day, and I was really just happy to be out on the bike. I haven't been riding so much yet this year, and I was like, wow, feels so good to be out riding. It was really good.
Yeah, I just started training now again, so I have to. For a long time, I was lifting more than riding, and there was days that, I didn't have to ride every day. It wasn't like, no big deal, ride 3 days a week, 2 days a week, but now I'm trying to ride 4 to 6 days a week. Man, and I have to go out. Like yesterday, it was 25 degrees. That was the warmest part of the day, which, for our friends in Chicago, that was 25 degrees.
Yeah, that's right. It's been an Arctic blast going on in most of the country, isn't it?
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, it was warm. But the difference here, though, in Chicago and where you are right now, too, once you start riding at a temperature that's in a flat area, then you can, you're pretty much good for the time. Like after 20 minutes, you warm up, and then you're going to be the same temperature. But here, I climbed a small mountain yesterday, but it was like 1.5 miles of 13% grade, so I got plenty tired and warm.
Yeah.
And then I came down the hill, and it was much cooler. And I got caught, like on the climb, actually was in the shade, and then the descent was a little more in the sunshine, so that was actually better. But yeah, so today I was trying to choose a route that was flatter. Still, it's got like 3,500 feet of climbing in it, but just so I wouldn't have to have so much temperature variation. Yeah.
I want to see how much altitude gain I had today here. I think it uploaded my ride already.
That's rough. I can check it for you.
Yeah. Well, anyway, not very much. I
had 2,260 feet yesterday on an 18-mile ride. So
yeah, I saw that. Wow, that was a lot for such a short ride.
Yeah, my short and steep route. So
yeah, right from the house, huh?
It's great. Yep. Yeah. But that route though, I normally don't do it when I'm not in shape because it hurts. And I have my slowest time ever, I think, up the main climb. Although the reason why is I did a short 1-minute climb before that pretty hard. So just still only like the middle of my efforts overall. But it made me really tired though for the big climb. And I normally stand up over a big portion of that 1.5 miles, but this time I didn't stand up that much. So yeah. I've been checking though too, like my friend Max Ellie, in his area where he's riding, it can't get cold, and it was in the I think low 40s, maybe high 30s for a couple rides he did, but now it's in the mid 50s, And Larry Warbass, who was riding in Hawaii and set the record up those huge climbs and stuff too. Now he's back in Nice getting ready for something. I wonder where he's going to race next, but it's so he's in. Actually, he's in Spain right now. Yeah, he's in
Spain. Yeah, training camp, I think.
So 61 degrees for his ride today. And you were okay. You were complaining.
You can see snow.
Yeah, is that from today's ride?
That was from today's ride. Yeah.
I don't have snow here. It hasn't. Well, there is a little bit of snow at certain places, but not here. But you were just in Brazil too, and it was too hot there, right?
It was hot. Yeah. I went for a run. It was hot for running during the hot part of the day.
My chiropractor just came back from Brazil, but some places only 33 feet, and it was 2.5 hour flight. He said north of Rio. But anyway, but he said it was so hot that the cyclists were riding in the evening. They wait till just before the sun went down and go out for rides because it was so hot there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it wasn't. It was low 80s. So it was, but the sun was out pretty good. So
How hot is it? How hot is it in Australia right now? I know
I
it's
think
pretty hot.
yeah, it's pretty high, but I think that I heard him say
35 maybe, 33, 30, 33. I think it's 33.
yeah, so that's in the upper 80s, low 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty warm.
Yeah, I know that Caleb Ewan's having he was a little sick, I think, and they didn't
Yeah,
have
he
him
was a
do,
little sick.
so he won the crit national championships.
Okay, I didn't see. I saw that. Okay, somehow I missed it.
Okay, he won the
So
crit nationals.
okay, but
And then
because
there
I
was
saw
another
that Isaac Del Toro was third.
in the crit national championships.
Oh, not in the national championship. No, in the crit race. What's the crit race that they do just before the Santos Tour
Oh,
Down Under?
he did not do that one.
Oh, he
He
didn't.
did
Okay.
he did. So there was
Oh
the
yeah, it
national
didn't.
championships.
Ineos rider won that, didn't he?
Yeah,
I just saw the podium because I was seeing about Isaac Del. Well, that's a big story, really, so far. That's what the podcast
yes,
is going to be about. Isaac Del Toro, the Mexican rider for UAE Emirates, who we
right.
were familiar with because last
Yep.
year he was beating our American Matthew Ricciardo at the Tour de l'Avenir.
Tour de l'Avenir, which
Yeah,
is the biggest amateur race in the world. I mean, maybe I'd say bigger than the worlds, because it's
the
just
stage
mini
race.
Tour de
Yeah,
France race.
yeah.
Yeah. And we were so disappointed that Ricciardo wasn't able to hold on to the
Hold on.
lead. And they thought, who's this Toro guy coming
No,
from
he was
Mexico? He must be
impressive.
really good. Must be
He was,
good. Yeah.
yeah, very impressive.
Because he was good there because that as the Tour de l'Avenir, again, it's like a mini Tour de France. And so there's lots of hard stages after stages, and so it makes it hard.
A lot of climbing too.
Luke Lampardi, though, did he win a stage last year? He's
Yeah,
won a
I
stage
think so.
there
Yeah.
before. Yeah. So yeah, but then lots of climbing at the end, and right, stage after stage, and Riccatello missed a move one day because it was sounded like it was attacking, and El Toro was able to do that still and stay with it and pull off the win. And we thought, wow, this guy must really be tough. And now that's how he won the stage. It was attacking, and he kept going with things. And I want to see it more, though. I just saw a little bit of highlights, and he held off the sprinters at the end by jumping just outside a kilometer to go. So, 19-year-old, right? 20-year-old, 19, 20?
20. I think he's 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
But he has a fast finish. So he's a climber. Really climbs really well with a fast finish. And so you get a few of those guys. Yeah, exactly. That's what I think. But there's a few other climbers that have pretty fast finish. Mike Woods does he have a fast finish?
He's a pretty fast finish.
Yeah, I think he is pretty fast. But yeah, that's how you're going to win a lot of races if you can climb well and have a fast finish. And
yeah. Right, because there's hardly any races really that are pure mountain races that have, you just outclimb everybody and you win. A few are like that.
Yeah.
But there's many, many more races that are either a bunch sprint or a reduced bunch sprint. And if you can win from a reduced bunch sprint.
Well, even Tadej Pogačar and Primož Roglič have pretty fast finishes, so that's they win a lot. I think they're going to beat.
Vindigo is a little bit not such a fast.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Right?
They're going to beat Vindigo head on those kind of finishes. But it seems like it's Simon Yates. Does he have a pretty fast finish?
Decent, I think. Yeah.
So anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, but now you wonder because Luke Plop crashed hard.
Yeah.
And lost
they've had some pretty fast descents in this edition of the Santos Tour Down Under. Like,
they're going in the 45 miles an hour, 40 some miles an hour, right into the finish. So it was, and so the winner today, I guess it was today's winner,
Sam Welsford.
Second stage that Welsford won.
He was riding the first and the third stage. So 3 stages are in the books, right?
And he was riding a 56.
56:10.
56. Yeah. He said he had a 56 on, and he thinks he was in the 10 sometimes.
And he's a track winner. He's a
track rider for sure.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing though, because I mean it's interesting because some of the people on SRAM stuff, there's the controversy is that the 10 increases the watts because it's so small. It's better to have bigger size chain rings and cogs. And so if you're riding, like I ride a 4810, which is bigger than a 5311. So it's certainly a 5211. I think it's a little bit bigger than 5311. So it's a good size gear. But the SRAM people versus the Shimano people will say, it's better to have a 54 55, 56, 11 than a 52,
40,
10.
10. Oh, yeah.
So he was running a 56, 11 most of the time, and apparently he was in the 10 sometimes. So that kind of makes, I think, maybe that's the mitigation they're doing there. But that's crazy that he has that kind of gear and he's still spinning it and comfortably. He's like, I'm just riding my team's wheels. But Luke Plapp, though, he crashed in that descent about 10K out with a bunch of other guys, and everybody but one finished. Rudy Millard, I think, did not. But he's out now, and it looked like it for a while that Jaco Alulu was going to be sweeping everything, and now it's going to be up to Yates, I think, because the last two stages are really hard. The Wollonga Hill is Saturday, and they do it twice, but Sunday's race has a Cat 1 climb they climb 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is the Warren Cycling Podcast, episode 344. Today is the 18th of January, 2024. And yeah, we're talking about the Santos Tour Down Under, the first World Tour race of the year. And like we mentioned just a little bit ago, that Isaac Del Toro, we were talking about him. It was only his second day as a World Tour racer, and he won a stage already, which is kind of it's a little ahead of even Teddy Pogacar. It took him longer to win.
Yeah, right.
Although the Teddy did start, I think, at the Tour Down Under his first year of the World Tour in 2019, and by the end of that year, he was finishing on the podium at the Vuelta a España, third place. Isaac Del Toro riding for UAE Emirates. It'd be interesting what kind of opportunities he'll have, because he got a guy like that who's very aggressive and wants, positions well. Actually, he's kind of far behind, I guess, coming into that finish that he won early, further back, but he can get through he knows how to move up well, I guess, through the peloton. So
yeah, that stage was a real. So Patrick O'Grady is the new race director.
Stuart O'Grady.
Patrick O'Grady. He was that artist. Stuart O'Grady, and so he's tried to change the race a little bit, which I don't know.
Yeah, it got kind of predictable every year. It was whoever finished up top of Wollonga Hill climb would win overall. Yeah.
Yeah, but so he's thrown in this. Stage 1 and 3 were relatively going to be sprinters stages no matter what. But even though there was a big group together still in stage 2, there was attacks like crazy for how many, 30K or so going to the end. It sounded like it was a really exciting race, and I feel bad because I don't have a subscription yet where I can watch it. And so that if you're going to watch,
you can watch the full. I think that's on YouTube, the full race.
Oh, really?
Stage.
Full stage?
Yeah, full stage.
Okay.
So if you don't want to watch that, and Taylor still tells me he watches on Tiz. He finds it on Tiz. So
I've heard someone else say the same thing, that it's more reliable now, and they're okay with it. So
yeah. So well, anyway, yeah, I think it was that stage that Quinn Simmons had attacked late too, that Del Toro actually passed him and then held off the sprinters. That Simmons was frustrated because the sprinter teams weren't letting him race during the stage, like they were shutting down moves. Maybe I didn't see the whole stage, so I wonder what exactly he was referring to. But he was happy that Del Toro won, that the sprinter didn't win because they were
spinners.
Yeah, that's the sprinters, because they were making it difficult for I guess breaks to get off, or I don't know.
But that is a danger, though, for sure. I mean, sometimes sprinter teams will be so confident it's going to end in a sprint and do all the work, and then somebody does capitalize on that. So it's not, the sprinter teams have to try for sure, but at the same time, it's not a given on the stage like that, at least.
Right. Well, 1 and 3 were pretty much sprinter stages, though, as it came down to the bunch sprint. Caleb Ewan, who, coming back to Jaco Alulu, would be hopefully finishing right there at the front, but being a little sick. If you're not at your top, you're going to get someone like Sam Welsford, who's moved over to Bora Hansgrohe. When do we start to say Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe? That's another part of the story that's coming up too, with Red Bull not done yet, but getting the majority stake in the team. But anyway, Sam Welsford, the Australian, really praising his team for putting him in the position that he needed to be. And hey, once you get on a roll, you get that confidence, and you can win. Biniam Girmay was finishing high enough to have the sprinter's jersey, but it looks like Sam Welsford has taken that over now after winning his second stage, right?
Yeah, Gourmet was fourth in 2 stages and third, I think, in another one. And in the points right now, he's 8 points behind Sam Welsford. So, and Caleb Ewan has been sprinting. I mean, he's in good shape, I think. And he obviously won the Australian Crit Nationals, and he was hoping to be able to do well in the road race too. So he's tied with Gourmet for 52 points.
Okay, I'm looking at the picture. I don't know if it'll show all the way, but who is that? A Cervelo or a Visma Lisa bike guy that's like doing a bike throw, and he looks like he's further behind other guys that are just kind of like looking around. Is he? He's just trying to get
from which team?
from Visma Lisa bike. It looks like the yellow. You see the guy over your left shoulder?
I'm looking to see where
that's
the first
doing a bike throw, but he looks like he's more like in 10th position bike throwing. Yeah.
The first Visma Lisa bike guy is, I think, 15th. It's Milan Vader.
Well, he's going for the overall, possibly, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
There was a split, so they want to make sure that they, because of the crashes maybe, so you had to be ahead of that split. Yeah, I think that's the first guy for, yeah. It's interesting. It says Team Visma / Lisa bike, not like.
It's getting dark here. I think I'm starting to get dark. I'm sorry. I'm looking at I should have turned on the light. I'm sitting here in the dining area. Actually, I'm half kitted. I mean, I changed this fast. I wanted to be at least warm on top, but I still got the kit on the bottom. So, and I got this new hat. Look at this nice hat.
I saw that hat.
You see that? It's got Nelson Veils on it. John gave it to me.
Where do you get?
It's a Chinelli hat. He got one for himself, one for me, so we match. But it's a Nelson Veils. I don't know if you can see it.
It's Chinelli there.
One side.
Oh, there, maybe that side.
Yeah.
Well, Ride with Nelly. Nelson has a Ride with Nelly program that he travels around and it gets paid, I think, to go places. So he marks himself.
Wasn't he there in the California area when we went to that park to do that practice race?
El Dorado Park?
El Dorado Park, yeah.
He used to race there, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was there. So, well, I guess I could put my light on for my phone. I'm feeling like I'm getting in the dark, that's all. I mean, now that we put it on YouTube, I guess it doesn't, I mean, we need to make it look okay, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, back to the racing there. Whoa, that's a little bright. Is that too much?
Well, so I always use a supplemental light, and I got my new, SAD light from seasonal effectiveness disorder. So I didn't hook that up yet, but I hooked that up. I think I might have another light.
I thought ours was called a happy light when we had one.
Mine is called daylight, but it's for SAD, so seasonal effectiveness disorder. So
yeah.
Because
we lived in Michigan. How's that? Is that look all right?
Yeah, it looks right. Yeah,
right.
It looks like you have a flashlight on you, but it's okay.
Spot.
Yeah, I mean, but my understanding is that even if it's sunny, so it is sunny, the sun's not as intense, and you're not out and as long, so it can be helpful to have the supplemental light.
I'm looking for the light switch.
Viviani, though, he finished second today.
Yeah,
or yesterday.
He's back with Ineos, right?
What's that?
He's back with Ineos. Yeah.
He's been with them since 2022. So, but yeah, he's struggled some to get wins in he's 34. He seemed like he was a prolific winner for a while and has had trouble more recently. So it's good to see him in a second. I guess I didn't see, I forget what it was now, but I saw something that said he has 50 some second places or something like that in his career.
Oh yeah.
So some incredible big number, 30 some, 50 some, something like that. It was huge.
A lot of good racers have a lot of second places. Peter Sagan, he had tons of second places.
Right. He used to call him the eternal second for a while, but he was also one. He won. Yeah. You're right. If you're coming close, did you see that Edvald? Speaking of second places, Edvald Vogenhagen, he had a lot of seconds in his career too, as well, just signed a contract, just really recently.
And how old is he now?
He's not that old. 34, I think.
Right? Okay. There's just one rider that's 40 years old racing in the World Tour this year. Cameron Wharf.
Yeah, or it's 40.
Yeah, just for. And then Mark Cavendish, I think, is the 5th oldest rider.
Boasting is Boasting, and he's 36.
38. Oh, who's 36?
Edvald,
yeah,
Boasting,
yeah. Cavendish is 38, and Morco too, I think.
Yeah, but Boasting signed for Larry Warboss's team. So the
decathlon,
Le Mondial team, yeah. So I remember I said that a few teams didn't have full squads. I mean, because it used to be everybody had the most people you could have, which was 26, 28, whatever it is. Now, though, I think you have to have 27, and you can have up to 30. So they probably have a little bit of room. And then I noticed the team listing doesn't always completely full. There's 30 now, according to this link, which would be the maximum number I think you can have on Decathlon, not Jager. So Larry Warboss being his fifth year, maybe then. Look there real quick. So since 2019.
This would be his 5th year then.
5, 6, his 6th year. Yeah. So 2024. Yeah, and it's
a good
great.
run.
It is a good run.
I think the second most like the youngest rider is AJ August, in the World Tour this year for Ineos. The American, they just signed for him. But then there's a lot. There's like 40, 42 maybe I saw, 22-year-olds. Seems like a lot. That's like almost the second most, and I think maybe the 26-year-olds was the next most, 40, or maybe a few more in the 40s. So, but the youngest team was FDJ, was it? But the average age is like 26 to 28 for all the teams. So it was Pro Cycling Stats had an article about composition. Yeah, I think they said there were like 19 different nationalities on UAE Emirates. Maybe the most. I think there was like 40 some different nationalities in the peloton, World Tour peloton. So yeah.
August doesn't turn 19 until October too.
Yeah,
so he'll be 18 for the majority of the year.
Right. So, well, we mentioned Quinn Simmons briefly. He talked about last time he's been active. His big goal. I was reading the Velo, the outside article. Andrew Hood. I don't know if Andrew Hood's there because he's got a couple different articles, interviews, or he's talking to some of the different American riders. But I guess that's Quinn Simmons is the only American racing at the Tour Down Under. But one of his big goals is Strade Bianche, which he's fared well in before. But
yeah, he's been in the mix a number of years. I think he had a couple bad luck things too. I think he crashed one year and he bonked another year, and so yeah,
he's been like 7th and 12th and in the mix for sure. But he said what he said though. It used to be a race where like Cancellara, a bigger guy, could win. And now the climbers all there, and it's a lot harder. He's like right at the limit for his size to be able to get up the climbs with the climber guys. So, yeah. Tom Pidcock last year, I mean, he's super light.
Yeah.
He's got that won Alpe d'Huez. Yeah. And Tadej Pogacar won before that. So, yeah. Yeah, it's
a pretty steep climb at the end, but it's usually, I guess the hope is that it's decided not on the last climbs into Siena. It is a steep little pitch going into Siena for sure. And you're really tired because it's a really long race too. But the hope would be that it's decided, I guess, right there. But previously the splits have been made and stuff like that too. I mean, Pogacar, when he went away early, right? And went solo. So because there's lots of things. So Quinn Simmons was 12th last year. So
it's good for sure. Yeah. So do you have any athletes asking about their durability training? Isn't that what I was reading about, the new metric, the durability, like, well, basically how strong you can be at the end. Like, do you ever do testing of athletes after a long hard ride to see?
Oh yeah, it's all the time. I mean, especially at the higher level. So Taylor and I have been talking about that for 10 years almost. So I mean, maybe not quite so 10 years, but when Taylor started moving up to that last, the next level, the highest racing as a pro, amateur, elite amateur, pro. goes back and forth kind of things. Did some races like Nature Valley. When he did Nature Valley, we talked about that a lot. Like what is it going to take to do well at a stage of Nature Valley? And it wasn't, because mostly they're flatter stages, so it wasn't like you had to do a really long climb or anything like that. But we said, yeah, it's like you have to do the best power at the end of the race. So we would have him do 4 or 5 hour rides and then do interval sets at the end, because you have to get ready to go really, really hard. Your hardest of the race, maybe at the end of the race, not just the capability of being able to do it anytime. So at that level, almost everybody can do these phenomenal numbers fresh. You're just crazy numbers. Like you can't. So, and that's actually where a guy,
but that's where most people are tested, right? I mean, when they do testing, they usually do it when they're fresh, right?
Yeah. So it's not, I don't think it's so important to test at that level, but it's just, to test when you're super tired, but it's the most important is to do the work when you're super tired, at the end, if you want to be able to develop that. But you can't just start there. You have to build up this really good aerobic engine first. You have to have the ability to do this power numbers when you're fresh, and then you need to transfer that ability to when you're tired. So you have to build up all the other things first. You can't just start off by saying, well, I'm going to start my training by doing 5 hour rides with 3 minute by 3x3s at the end. That's not going to work very well. So you need to be able to be at the super good power at those intervals early on, and then you need to build up really good endurance, and then you need to be able to go hard at any point in the race. So especially at the end.
Yeah, because sometimes there's going to be a split.
Yeah.
Maybe with an hour to go, the move, the winning move. And
there's so many races
so
many races I've been in where I've been barely hanging out of the pack, maybe a third of the way, halfway into the race. I'm barely, or even if it's the pack split, the lead group at that point, and I'm barely able to hang on. But if I make it past that point, then I might win, because I'm traditionally, I have a lot of durability.
Yeah.
So, but traditionally I do well at the end, when people are tired. So that's always, but you have to be careful because if you don't have the ability to stay with the people at the beginning, then you might not be able to show that. I remember I started coaching one athlete who ended up being a national champion, and it was a woman. I just had to get her to the end because she used to always win the sprints for the second group. And so if I just got, so that was our training, was that, her sprint was phenomenal. There's no problem with that at all. And so we just got her to the point where she could make it to the end of the race, and then she would win almost every time. So yeah, it's, training is complicated. So I don't like the durability term though, because I thought when I saw the headline, it was going to be like, how you could respond to adversity and, how.
I thought more like that you don't get injured, that you make it through a whole season, and you're reliable, I guess, that durability kind of like, I didn't know what it meant.
Or even a race, if you're resilient in a race, if you're not thrown off by things that are happening and can withstand, being shoved off the road or having an incident, mechanical incident, or, missing a move, but then still being able to, counter the next move, or, those things I think are there's so many skills you need to be a good racer and to do well as a good racer. So, so I don't know if durability is the best term for that, but certainly I don't think that's a surprise for any top tier racer. That article is like, of course. But maybe to the newer racers or people that haven't been in that situation or don't make it to the end, even then for them to be like, oh yeah, I gotta get good at that too.
So you're back to my question. Then your athletes, after reading the article, aren't calling you up and saying, hey, can you train my durability more?
No, nobody's mentioned that to me yet. So yeah. So again, I was talking to, I forget, somebody at the Endurance Exchange we talked about at the last podcast about this. Oh, I think it was, I forget the gentleman's name, but inside as one of the co-founders was there, Greg or Brad, I forget which one, Greg maybe. But we were talking about, how Inside uses these physiological testings to determine weaknesses and strengths and things like that too. And then you can identify what you need to train. But the key is not being good at any one thing necessarily. But when you look at a race that's important and you want to win that race or do well in the race, you look at what it's going to take to do well at that race. So if it's having
there's a short climb that you do a bunch of times, you have to build it.
Right. Or multiple climbs, being able to repeat that effort, or being able to go hard at the end, or being able to descend well, or being able to sprint well if it's not, whatever it is, whatever the decision maker is, or be able to get to the front so you can sprint well. you need to find those things that'll make the difference, and that's what you want to really work on. So you need to be in good shape generally. Of course, you need to have good aerobic capacity, good anaerobic capacity, a tactical sense for things. But then what's the difference maker? Because you have to assume that your best competitors are also going to be able to do all those things well too. And then what's going to be the difference maker? So like when I won Grand Final Nationals, luckily it was here in Asheville, so I was able to train specifically on the climbs. But I knew the difference maker would be the final climb. So after you've done 80 miles or whatever, you have to do a 4.5 mile climb, and it's pretty steep. You have to go all out.
How many minute effort?
Like 22, 23,
yeah.
In that race, 23, 24 minute effort.
Yeah.
So, but as I prepare for that event, I would ride, I do the group ride every Saturday, which is like 3.5 hours. And then I would go do that climb, So the group ride was hard. I would climb. At the end of almost any longer ride, I would do that climb, And I do at close to the watts I thought I had to do the race. And then the race came down. That was a difference maker, and I won. So, you have to really prepare what the thing is that's going to make the difference in that race. And so in that durability index too, it's like saying for, some races, you have to be going a little that hard at the end of the race. And so if you pick out a race that is going to be the difference maker, and then you try and, like you said, replicate those kind of efforts, whatever kind of effort it's going to be, if it's a, 5-minute effort, 3-minute effort, 20-minute effort, whatever it is, can you do that? I mean, we see that at Tour de France, right? When Pogačar and Vingegaard are going against each other, we've seen that they're each, Pogačar seems like he can go harder earlier and has been having a little bit of trouble the last couple of years being able to go that last little hard effort, where Vingegaard holds back almost the teams like a little bit, earlier on, and then can make that harder effort at the end. So they're doing the same thing for sure. That's how they're training.
Right. That's why they go recon climbs and stages of the races. Yeah. So, well, anything else you've seen at the Tour Down Under that gives you any indication of who's like, coming out good form? I mean, the big story, Isaac Del Toro, is just crazy that they won, and that he's so active and is able to. He's got such a good jump. So we'll see how he does the rest of the race. I mean, he could win the whole thing. I mean,
or he could blow up and longer the first time up or second time up and be out of it too. So I think I mean, Welsford.
But it makes it exciting to see like what's going to happen next. Yeah.
So I think the big sprint story is Welsford. Now he's won 2, and the Bora team has worked great, getting that together. So, Bora's got it.
Yeah. So what is it? The Bora train that's been so impressive, or Sam Welsford, or just a combination of both?
Both, I think. Yeah. I think you have to have both. I mean, occasionally you can be just a good sprinter and surf wheels and be able to be a good, win sprint stages. But in this case, Welsford has had the sprint to finish it off, but his team has done an excellent job of getting him to the line and protecting him. So that's a big story for sure. And then Isaac Del Toro for sure. But I think we'll see more stories develop over the weekend where they have 2 really hard stages, and we'll see what goes on there too. Because before, like you said, it was whoever won the Milongo basically was going to win the race, and now that's not necessarily the case. That's a hard stage, but the next stage is really hard as well too. So I think we'll see, can Del Toro hold both stages? I don't know. It'll be good to see, Or is Simon Yates, we think, who's Jake Lulu. I mean, the pressure is on them, right? They dominated the national championships. They seemed like they had the team that was going to. I read one article that said, could they win every stage? Well, they haven't won one yet. Yeah. So, and
losing Luke Plapp is really
yes, that was huge for him too.
Yeah.
And did you see that Israel Primertech finished second and third?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good too. Good. They need to do better. They're a team that's underperformed for their existence, pretty much. So having so it's good to have them doing well too in that. So and we have a whole the next World Tour race is the Cadel Evans on the 20th, I think, the end of the month. So but then the UAE though isn't until the 19th of February. So that's quite a ways away. Yeah.
But so race in Tour San Juan in Argentina, is that the race that Cavendish?
Yeah, that's not a World Tour race.
No. But it's the next race that would be interesting to follow, right? To see quite a few sprinters will be there. I mean,
there's a lot of Spanish races going on in between now and then, but they're smaller 1.1 races and stuff. So.
Yeah.
1.2s. Yeah.
I didn't even see anything about cyclocross. What's going on in between?
Yeah.
I didn't see anything. No.
No. I guess we're all getting excited about the road, media
Yeah.
included.
And the women's race there, Giganti. How do you say your last name? Giganti.
Sure.
She won. Well, it came out the climb, and she won.
Yes, she won, and she's going to try and set the record too for that climb. She's going to try and beat Richie Port's record just by doing that. I guess there's a hill climb time trial of it. And she thinks,
Oh yeah.
well, I don't know if she thinks she can beat it or not, but that was a scuttlebutt, was she was going to try and get the record, because she was saying that it's always been held. The fastest times have been up at the end of the race, and so she thought maybe fresh.
She does it fresh. Mm.
Yeah, she could do it maybe.
Wow.
So she climbed away from everybody. It was impressive that she was able to just get away.
And I didn't read the article you sent me about Chloe Dykert. She was supposed to race Tour Down Under, and she didn't.
Supposed to race Tour Down Under. A minor illness, they said. She had a minor illness, so enough to keep her away from racing. But she wasn't.
Did she go? Was she in Australia even?
She wasn't.
She didn't go.
No. So I'm just real quick on cyclocross, and the last race was on the 15th, and Isabert won. It was a C2.
Sure.
Not a big race. A C2. So a Nottingham. And then the women's race was Ribaroli, Belgian as well too. So, and then the day before in the men, Ragel from Poland won. It was a Polish race. No, Austria. I'm sorry, Austria race. So sorry. And then Hegel. So also those were CN, so a little bit lower category. Yeah. So my guess is that primarily people from the home country. And Isabert won the day before too. That was a CN race as well too. So so lower tier races this last week, and home people won. So usually in those kind of races too, people aren't traveling as much, and so it's people from that country. If you look down the list here too, it's like every Croatia race was won by a Croatian, the Czech Republic race was won by a Czech Republic, the Denmark race was won by a Dane. So yeah, the the race in France was won by Materni, a French guy. Same thing with the women too. So nothing across the board. The host countries, there's reply there. So my guess is that people are just mostly doing.
Yeah.
Oh, I should look at the. I think in the Ireland, they're I'm sorry, I was thinking their national championship was coming up for a couple of weeks. But Maria Larkin from the United States has been the Irish national champion many times. She's Irish, but she lives in the United States, in Chicagoland area, and so she's already over there racing though. She was 5th in that race, but there was a lot of Irish people there, and she was 3 minutes down. So I wonder if she won't win national. I think she's the reigning national champion right now.
Yeah, well, we got a few more weeks before the World Championships, and
their national championships will usually happen. Soon.
But someone's at the door. It's Lucky the dog. Hey, Lucky dog.
Well, So I'm embarrassed to say, but is the CN maybe is the national championship races? I think they are. The CN must be.
Hey, Lucky dog.
So the national championships all happened last week. Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Very happy to see you.
Hey, Lucky.
So
Lucky dog.
So that's why the races were all the winners were all from the
for their own country. There you go.
Yeah, that's because I thought, wow, it's amazing that it was like that, but it's because they're all the national championships. So Maria Larkin isn't the Irish national champion anymore. But, and Nieuwenhuis is the Dutch, and Lucinda Brand for the Netherlands for Dutch women.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll
Swiss.
I'm going to be in Portugal next week on vacation. I don't know if we'll be able to get together to talk then. But I saw that there's going to be a webinar, a web thing with Ted King and Lawrence Tandam, who are going to ride. They're talking about a ride they're going to do for the whole length of Portugal. I think it's going to be in April.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How long would it take? Is it very long?
I think
Portugal's
so. It's like
less than
500
California,
miles, maybe.
right?
Yeah.
So are they gonna do it one day? 500 miles.
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah.
You have to watch. All right. Well, let's wrap this up so you can get yourself ready and get out and do a nice ride, because it's so great to get out and ride. And I'm looking at the birthday list though, because we like to talk about who's having a birthday on the day we're doing the podcast, which is 18th of January, and number one on the list by quite a few, but the number two is pretty big rider too. Did you look at it, Let?
I just right now. Yeah.
All right.
I'm a little
Tor-
surprised actually, to be honest, that
The Toro, sorry. Yeah, he's got a lot of points. Toro Husfeld, 46.
well, he's that far ahead of the second place.
Peter,
Peter
yeah,
Van
Van yeah, it was 54. So this
Thor
is
Husvold,
not-
I mean, yeah, he was phenomenal racer. He was actually he was time trial U23 or junior world champion, I think, right?
Yeah.
We always thought of him as being a sprinter or a puncher or classics rider, but he was a good time trialist too. So
Yeah, and I mean the cool thing was with Toro was when they merged Cervelo with Garmin, that he was a world champion and brought the world champion to the Garmin team.
yeah,
And then he had a great tour. He won a couple of stages that year. So yeah.
3, I think. Remember right? It was 3. He won 10 Tour France stages overall.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. So we're looking at Peter
yeah.
Van Petegem, which
Yeah,
is,
he was an amazing rider.
because
I understand he wasn't very happy to be on the Cervelo.
Toro. Going back to Peter Van Petegem though.
He won Flanders and he won Paris-Roubaix,
Twice,
right?
Yeah, twice
Huh?
Flanders, once
No,
Paris-Roubaix.
Peter Van Petegem.
Yeah.
Look, yeah, he was amazing rider.
We just wrap up the rest of the birthdays here. Yeah, the big names, of course.
I think we need to talk about Peter Van Petegem just a little bit, because he was part of the team that Mercury Vital merged together. It was a team that, again, John Warden had put together. It was an American-based team. Le Mans rode for him for a little bit, but a lot of people from, I guess he wasn't super happy with the situation, kind of like Toro Husfeld wasn't super happy when they merged together too.
Right.
But that team had like Derek Bouchard Hall on it. It had Floyd Landis on the team. Chris Horner was on the team. So Scott Monger. It was a real mix, along with all these Belgians and stuff too. So a 30-person team. But I had heard from some of the Americans though that having Peter Van Petegem on the team, oh my gosh, they learned so much. Derek Bouchard Hall, I think he talked about that before too. Gord Fraser, actually he talked about it too. Wolf Rickshorn. They talked about how much they learned from riding with this guy. He was so smart and was so experienced. And
just want to mention too that Noah Granigan's 28 today. Happy birthday, Noah Granigan. I've had him on the show before. Thanks, Randy. Talk to you soon.